Okay, yes, online students, good afternoon everyone. Yes, so this is the value addition session for your GS4 paper, right? Ethics part. Now, before starting the session, you must know that this session is for those students who have some basic understanding of the syllabus, who have gone through the basic study material also. Somehow they have done the foundation batch, we can say that, right? All of you have gone through the syllabus, right? You have your own study material by the time, and now we have to build on that, right, and understand how to approach to this particular paper in terms of mostly answer writing, right? But this year UPSC introduced one new twist, and what was that twist? Yes, in prelims itself there were 3 questions and they were easy, right? Have you seen the questions? See, have a look at those questions also, because that will give you more appropriate idea. Look at this question. What is the answer to this question? Yes, accountability. Do you know the question? Simply they are describing here that there is something wrong is going on, and upholding the integrity, upholding the accountability in this situation, which is challenging situation. There is something that is being pressurized. The civil servant or a public servant is being pressurized to do something illegal, something unethical, and in that situation he has to uphold certain civil service values, and one of them here particularly is accountability. He reported the issue to the appropriate vigilance authority and halted the contract to ensure citizen welfare. Vigilance, what comes in mind? It is accountability. Vigilance, Central Vigilance Commission, we have CVC. What they do? They uphold the accountability of civil servants and public servants. So from that logic also, it is very easy to attempt. So those who have basic understanding of ethics subjects, they will get this question correct, right? We can have a look at these questions also quickly. Right. So 52. Now there is a case described here, right? And that in that case, what they are talking? It is talking about multi-ethnic district, and there is some kind of conflict going on, right? Conflict is going on between two communities, right? Look at this. Flashpoint has arisen with the government decision to allocate land for the waste management facility near the tribal hamlet, sparking the protest by the tribal community, right? So local industries are there, they are supporting the project. So all these things, there are different interest of different stakeholders is involved, right? And we have to find the amicable solution to this. That's what they are asking here. Consider the following statement with reference to above, and they are talking about some courses of action, and they are saying that which of the following statements given above contribute to resolution process, right? Resolution process. So of course, as a decision maker, like in the case study of ethics paper, we actually resolve the conflicts, right? So here there is a conflict, they are giving the options or courses of action here, and we have to basically choose. Look at this, the second statement: the government should move ahead with the project without delay to the address urban health concerns which outweigh the sentiments of small group, that is tribal group. Now we learn that compassion, empathy towards weaker sections is a civil service value in ethics paper. So how can the government do like this, that their sentiments are temporary, their sentiments are of small group, minority? So government cannot ignore it straight away. This is extreme statement, right? So if you simply eliminate this second option, look at the options. So the small trick was there, right? You cannot take extreme decisions, you have to balance the interest of all stakeholders. This is what we are going to learn in case studies part also, right? So they are asking this simple. This one also very simple. Again, you can see that Mr. X is, sorry, Miss X is mid-level civil service officer, urban development. So she is going to award one contract or something like that. Then during approval process, she received piece of confidential information indicating one of the shortlisted contractor has the history of poor workmanship and allegations of corruption. Now there is one trick word here. What is the trick word? The trick word is simply this one. See, though nothing has been legally proven. Okay, now most of the students get confused here that this information should be given to public immediately. Look at this. However, Ms. X believes that withholding such information compromise transparency and public trust. That's what I'm telling you. Many students, okay, many students will answer this as a 2 and 3, recommending removing the contractor from shortlist to protect the. See, we don't have proof. It is not legally proven. So we cannot do that arbitrary action. You have to be just, you have to be fair in your actions while doing taking the course of action. So unless and until it is proven, see, you get the confidential information from some of the colleagues, some of the juniors from other departments, something like that. But it is not proven yet. Understood? So that's why you cannot take such decision. But you can always that give that information to that committee, so that when they take decision, they may find some kind of information when they shortlist that. Okay, some anomaly in their application, some anomaly in terms of their, let's say, financial records or whatever it is. Because it's your responsibility to let the committee know about it. If you are not conveying that, somehow the committee members may not give attention to details of that particular contractor's financial details. Now, if suppose it is really a fraud, then the committee will actually investigate and they will take the decision. Now, what if you are saying that immediately disclose the information and project committee to the public also? Now, some people will think like this, whether it should be disclosed to public also. Suppose it is disclosed to public, what will happen? Yes, it's not proven. Very good. Look at the natural justice aspect. It is not fair to that contractor. The contractor will say, if it is not proven, how can you do this? There are false allegations against us. The government is not fair to me. They will file the case or something like that. Now it creates some kind of distress among the people. Okay, it will spread the rumors or false information among the public that these things are happening in the government contract awarding and all these thing processes. It is not being fair, it is not being transparent, something like that. So instead of directly, releasing that information to the public, you should be proposing limited disclosure to the oversight committee. That means you convey that to oversight committee.
Here my doubt was, I gave 2 and 3 to keep it broad in the exam. Another thing which confused me was that it says recommend. Recommend means that the final decision making authority is not with this official.
Yes.
He can give a recommendation which is not wrong in any
Of course.
So I gave that option. I answered. If it says directly that remove the contractor from the shortlist, then I could have still eliminated that option as being extreme. But
understood.
Here he has only given recommend. So
understood.
That is why this question was a little difficult.
Yes.
In a sense.
Yes. But when you are recommending, that means you as a civil servant has decided and then you are recommending, right? You have decided that yes, or you believe that the contractor has some kind of false record or something, let's say a wrong history, and that's why you are recommending, right? You are not recommending based on someone other's belief. That is again very wrong thing to do as a civil servant. You are recommending means you are confirm something, but that is not there. No, it is not legally proven. That's why. And when you recommend, then this committee will take it seriously. You are at that authority basically. Understood? You are at that authority that they will take it seriously. That's why it will influence their decision. Okay, so it will not be called as fair. That's why. So out of 3, this was only tricky. Okay, first 2 were very easy.
So the first two options are like extreme states.
Yes, they are. They are. Yes, this is lack of fairness. Simply, when it is not proven, removing the contractor without giving it chance in the competition, the fair we can say that that is there. Because what is contract? It is basically competitive bidding. No, the competitive bidding is happening among those applicants, right? So they will be judged based on certain criteria. Then only it will be called as fairness. Removing that contractor based on some kind of, let's say, previous conceptions, conceived notions, right, it will create lack of fairness or against natural justice. Because it is that's why I told you it is a tricky word, though nothing has been now if this was not given, okay, it was not let's say, though nothing has been legally proven, see, there are simply allegations. History of poor workmanship, and there are allegations. The word allegations, it is not proven yet, it is not convicted yet. So that's why we have to be fair. Okay, so even in case study, of course, we will talk about this, that why these words become very tricky in dealing with. So we expect that next year also they will ask such 2-3 questions. 12-13 years ago UPSC used to ask such case study based question, decision making questions in CSAT part. When the CSAT paper was introduced in 2011, they introduced such kind of questions in 2011 in CSAT paper. Okay, now after 10-15 years, now they are bringing it in GS paper, exact same, but very small case study. Okay, but they are comparatively easier to understand, and we can say attempt. So when we prepare our theory and case studies part, we should be preparing in the manner that we are securing these 6-7 marks, of course, in prelims also, right? So they are very easy marks as compared to the other questions they asked this year, right? This year's paper, how many of you attempted actually in the exam, right? So how was your experience? Was it a disaster? Somehow for the most of
UPSC, they will give, we do not, what we are expecting that they will not give.
yes, that is the exam is actually all about unpredictability.
But sticking to the some concept only we
Yes,
can't.
yes, I was coming to that only.
We should learn overall.
Yes, some core aspect, some core subjects, they keep on repeating.
It's not degree exam that these exact questions only it will come.
Yes, they will not repeat, of course. The themes also.
Not in this exam, but the previous questions, they used to repeat the questions.
Huh.
But
Right.
The PDF they are sending from 10 to 15 question paper, they already asked the questions. By seeing that only we can understand that they what in conceptually they will not ask, because the depth level is already.
Especially static subjects.
They are already asked that what they will ask you.
And history is kind of subject, try to understand that there is unlimited information in history, no, and with unlimited sources.
In history they didn't ask medieval, ancient, only somewhat ancient they have asked.
Ancient they ask.
No medieval history, art and culture.
See, the questions they ask, you may feel that they are familiar, you may feel the topic is familiar always, but the content they ask, no, in between that, like, basically the terms arthashastra and all those Vedas mentioned, but did we know the term about that, the term they ask, whether it is from arthashastra or any Veda? Kshetrapatni, right? So no one knew about it.
Yeah, I was confused between Rig Veda and the Ashtra.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's better to not attempt. I was coming to that only, but yes, it is ethics subject, so I'm not going to deal about strategy. We'll have some other time session like this, okay, for prelims, not a problem. So what I'm telling is 3 questions, we can expect maximum 5 questions next time, right? So 3 to 5 questions, 10 marks we have to secure in prelims also. Now we have total 3 sessions for ethics. So what we will do, first 2 sessions for theory part we will divide. And what we are going to do here, not learning the basics, okay, rather we will try to apply those basic understanding of our knowledge. When we say apply our knowledge, that means the way questions are being asked in last 2-3 years, you can see that they are not direct. They are not asking nowadays that what do you mean by emotional intelligence, what are its components. That was like 5-6 years ago, right? Now they ask the questions like statement like anger and intolerance are the enemies of correct understanding. Mahatma Gandhi, code based question. It is related to emotional intelligence, but now it is applied. Now we have to understand why they are talking anger and intolerance. Now all of you may have seen recent incident, that video of Mumbai local train where one boy was stabbed with knife, right? So somehow whenever I come across this such kind of news, no, road rage incidents, right? So anger and intolerance, can we say that the anger and intolerance are enemies of correct understanding? We all have been angry. See, it is a human emotion, isn't it? We all have been angry, and in that anger whatever we say or do we really mean it? No, right?
Sometimes intentionally, sometimes not.
Yes. Yes, but after 10 minutes, after 1 hour, when we cool down, we generally feel guilty of what we said to other person or did that in the heat of movement. Don't you think? Huh? Yes, we regret many a times. I wish I would not have done that. That kind of feeling we have. That means during that 10 minutes, during that 5 minutes of anger, our understanding of what is right and wrong is gone. This is what Mahatma Gandhi says 100 years back. This quote, now it is very relevant in present context. See, whenever I am saying present context, it is applied, relevance. This is the way UPSC asks questions, right? Buddha's teachings, how they are relevant in the present context. Mahavira's teachings, how they are relevant in present context. These 2 questions were asked. Then Guru Nanak and his teachings and present relevance. 3 questions were asked like this. So they are talking about present context, how they are relevant to the present context. So all syllabus topics and all theories that we learn and all those thinkers that we have learned, leaders, their teachings, how they are relevant today. We need to brainstorm on it. This is the value addition we are going to do. Okay. Of course, simultaneously we will see the examples we can mention in our answer, some quotations by these philosophers, great leaders, so that even if the code based question is asked, we can brainstorm on it or we can write in our answer directly. Before starting the session, I will give you a brief idea about what are the core elements that are required in theory answer. Okay. Okay, model answer. What is model answer in theory part, ethics? So generally we divide the answer in 3 parts, structure wise: introduction, body and conclusion, isn't it? Now when we divide, first of all we will talk about introduction. Okay. How many of you have written answers for ethics subject? Okay. Previous year questions or test also? Okay, you have done. What we will generally write in introduction of question?
We start with the anecdote or a quote.
Okay, very good. So one way is we can say writing the quote. Anecdote is like especially for 150 words is going to be very long introduction. So quote is writing quote, relevant quote is one way. Mostly I will say that we generally tell students that write the standard definition of key term that is asked in the question. If question is talking about emotional intelligence, simply define emotion. If it is talking about attitude, define attitude. If it is talking about corporate governance, define corporate governance. So that means if it is any syllabus topic or the important concept that you learn in ethics, define it, because that is value addition to your answer.
Sir, I have a question. Do you need to mention the name of a scholar who has given it?
Not needed.
Yes, it's not.
Not needed. Okay. Definition is like standard definition also. You can write the dictionary definitions also. Oxford dictionary type. Okay, it's not needed to mention the scholar. When you write the quote, it is expected that you mention the author. Who has given it? Right? That is a kind of, we can say, value addition, of course. Right? And third way is that if suppose question is applied in nature, talking about some current developments, so it's better to give current context. Now question is talking about growing conflicts in the world or some kind of wars, or it is talking about international ethics or ethics in international relations. This is our syllabus topic. Now what is good introduction here? Either you mention some of the conflicts that are going on, like Ukraine Russia conflict is there, or presently Israel Iran or US Iran conflict that is going on. At regional level you can mention Kuki and Meitei conflict in Manipur that is going on, right? So basically there are conflicts, right? Or else simply mention some quote also, like Mahatma Gandhi will say that an eye for eye will make the whole world blind. So again we can talk about it is relevant there, right? Buddha will say that the hatred cannot be removed by hatred but by only love, right? So all these are relevant quotations there, isn't it? So you can start with the quotation or current context. These are the three different ways. Okay, if you don't get any idea about any of these three, start writing what is asked in the question. If you don't have time to write the introduction, start writing what is asked in the question straight away, body part. Not needed. Many times they will ask questions like this: what do you understand by emotional intelligence? What are its components? Can they be learned? This was the question asked. Okay, few years back. 3 parts were there. Is there any scope to write separate introduction? So I will directly define emotional intelligence. No, the first part of question itself. So in such kind of question, what do you understand by? Directly start with definition. No needed separate introduction. 150 words is our scarce resource. Every word should be used very wisely. They could have mentioned 200 words, 250 words also, no? 150 words. That means we must articulate the things in concise manner. That is the quality of civil servant. Okay, he has lot of problems, lot of content, everything, but he must articulate and prioritize the things. First thing first. Okay, so here we'll talk about now the body part. Okay, in body part, generally what is asked in the question, we try to address it, right? So we try to explain it. Many times there is command of questions also, right? Different commands, different tail words. Depending on that, the structuring of body part will be there. Okay, if the question is having 2 parts, we will give 2 subheadings. So giving appropriate subheadings is important quality that we should have. Okay, and subheadings should be underlined or made box like this. Subheadings, nowadays students are making box like this, highlighting the things. Now I will give you example. Okay, there was this quote asked, all men can overcome adversity, full stop. But if you want to test the character of the person, give him power. Now this was quote by Abraham Lincoln. There was essay also on this topic. There are 2 parts in the quote. Everybody can overcome adversity. Now we have to give at least 20-30% weightage of your answer to this. Why they are saying like this? Everybody can overcome adversity, right? So first we will mention that part here, subheading. And second part, test the character of the person. That will be second subheading. Right. Similarly, the quotes like they have asked, good people do not need law, while bad people will always find the way around law. 2 parts again. Good people, bad people. Right. but deliberately don't break the question. Many times students deliberately do this. Some teachers, some mentors, they advise them that break down the question. Okay, break it in 2 3 parts, then you have content to write. It's not like that. Many times there is holistic meaning to the quotes. Okay, so it's not hard and fast rule. If there are 2 parts in the quotes, then only you give such kind of, let's say, subheadings. If there are 2 3 parts in the question, like that I told you, what do you understand by emotional intelligence? Question mark. What are its component? Question mark. Can they be learned? Question mark. 3 parts were there, they are separate, so give the subheadings like that. Then I told you there are only 150 words, that's why we need to be very concise. So answer should be concise, to the point. Okay, बोलते हैं ना, hit the bull directly, don't beat around the bush. These are the statements, they are aptly applied here for ethics paper. Okay, I will tell you example. If suppose the question is asked on challenges of corruption, straightforward question asked, discuss the causes or factors responsible for corruption in India. This is syllabus topic, challenges of corruption. Every year they will ask minimum 1 question on corruption directly. Now most of the students will start like outdated laws are there, institutional problems are there, then the strong vigilance mechanism is not there. Again, I told you, beating around the bush. Is corruption is going to reduce if institutions are made strong? Laws made us. Already we have strong laws. CVC is there, Lokpal is there now, Supreme Court is there. Still we have corruption. So what is the root cause? Hit the bullseye. What do you think? What is the root cause of corruption? Huh? Huh?
Basically, maybe the person who is
Hmm.
doing the corruption
Hmm.
is either due to greed.
Hmm.
One is
Hmm.
root cause of most corruption is
Hmm.
usually greed.
Hmm.
Second is desperation,
Hmm.
that maybe some financial issue has come
Hmm.
up in the family and he is
Hmm.
resorted to corruption for that.
Hmm.
So there should be
Right.
So there is only 2 ways to correct.
Basically it is human nature or human character, right? If the human nature or human character is good, then automatically that person will uphold the integrity, that person will uphold the civil services values, that person will ensure that the law is implemented in letter and spirit, right? That will ensure the constitution ideals are met, the goals that we have decided. All these things happen when the person is having strong character. So first we should address this thing, that human nature is selfish, as said by several philosophers. Thomas Hobbes will say, Kautilya will say that human is selfish, Machiavelli will say human is selfish. Write down that. And because of this human selfish nature, they will misuse the power and discretion that we have. The civil servants enjoy the power, they enjoy the discretion, so they will use that for their self-interest, right? And that's why we need accountability. Okay, so once we understand why it is happening, then it is, we can say that understand why we need accountability. So that's why then बाकी के points जो होता है ना, remaining points you can write in one line only. You need not to explain also. Only one words. The examiner gets the idea. You know the root cause. This is actually ethics. Other subjects you have to put lot of information. Write 6 7 points. Right? More number of points, more number of marks. But in ethics, it is not like that. If you address the main demand of the question, you will get good marks. Okay, so we need not to worry about the information as such in ethics paper. Try to understand this thing, right? So here concise answer should be there. Then we should understand that most of the students write content in very layman language or general studies terms or general studies language, GS language. But ethics paper demand ethical terminologies, ethical concepts. Okay, I will give you example. If suppose question is asked on economic inequality in our society, and it is talking about what are the reasons, or let's say whatever the question is there. Now students will bring economy, GS3 paper. They will bring society, right? Pre-existing inequalities because of caste system or some, all these things they will bring their knowledge. But again, ethics. What do you think? Why there is inequality? What kind of ethical terms we will bring here? We will bring equity. Okay, we will bring distributive justice. These are the ethical. We will bring social justice, the term mentioned in our constitution, the ideal that we have to achieve as a civil servant. We will bring welfare state and redistribution of wealth as part of your DPSPs. And then we will bring the aspect of, what is that? Egalitarian society. That everyone is equal. See, all these terms you will not write in GS3 paper. There you will write Oxfam report data, rich and poor divide, gender inequality, or let's say economic inequality index, or whatever the indexes are there, facts, data you will mention. Here, these terms should be there. Look at the way I am asked. There was this question, relevance or significance of National Education Policy 2020. Now, this is basically question from GS2. We learn there in governance part, education, health, and all these things. They asked in ethics paper. Yes, character building and certain values inculcation, right, from the childhood itself. So that most of the students that year actually did not know. We should be thinking from this perspective, that whatever you learn in GS 1, 2, 3, are these topics or issues are having certain moral and ethical angle. We learn in society all the caste system, tribal system, gender inequality, women empowerment, everything we learn. Divyang people, have we thought about what ethical issues these people are facing? This section of society is facing? We must think. Okay, because it is a real life. You are going to deal with them. You are basically implementing the schemes and policies for them as a civil servant, right? So you are supposed to know about all these topics. So ethical terms, and when I say ethical terms, it will include all your syllabus topics. Try to see that which syllabus topics it is linked. Already when you are able to link this, you have the content now, because your notes are there. You will remember everything from notes. Once you get the idea that this is from this syllabus topic, I can relate to this syllabus topic. Second, all the theories part. Normative theories you have learned, and then their quotes. Philosophers and their quotes. So you have learned about virtue ethics, deontology, utilitarianism, then contractarians, ethics of care, applied ethics. All should come here. Your answers without these terminologies will not get more than 4 marks. Will not get any kind of answer you write if you do not bring in these things. 1 or 2 at least you should mention reference to any philosopher or any quote. Okay, relevant quote. Now here onwards, it's your responsibility that your notes, your study material that we have, for each and every syllabus topic, you must have reference to any 1 or 2 philosopher and their quotes. Must have. Okay, I'm going to give you list of 100 topics that I have basically analyzed from the previous year questions, last 13 questions, and which questions that UPSC has asked from which topics, which concepts. So at least for those 100 topics, we can have these things. Okay, because they will repeat most of the time, all these concepts. Then next is example. Now students are most of the time confused, sir, how many examples we have to write? Certain answers we see that there are 7, 8 examples, and in certain answers, there is only 1 example. Okay, even examiner gets the idea that you don't have example for this answer. That's why you are not writing. Why such kind of imbalanced approach? Don't have that. 3 to 4 examples for each answer. 3 to 4 examples for each answer. Okay, and try to have this thing. If you are writing example like this, write like this or like this. Highlight this in your answer that I have written example. Don't force the examiner to see where you have written example. Highlight it, box it, first thing. Second, when you are writing the examples, first 3-4 points should be having the examples. If you are writing first and second point and then giving example for third point, that is not good approach. Okay, first 2-3 points, give 2-3 examples for each point, and after that write only 2-3 points simply. Don't give examples then. For most important points, you give the examples, right? And there I am going to come here, prioritize. First write most important point. The way I have given example of corruption. Okay, the most important reason that you will write. So that thing you have to focus there, right? Prioritize it. Okay. In body part also you can structurize properly. Like suppose factors responsible for formation of attitude. Simple question is asked. So you can mention the factors by giving subheadings properly, like family, then society, then personal experiences, religion, customs and traditions. Give such subheadings in the structure, and then thereafter you write the point in that. Okay, so this is the way body part should work, and then thereafter the conclusion aspect. Now most of the students face challenge in writing the conclusion. What to write the conclusion, sir? I will give you idea. See, in 150 words, most of the time you may not get the let's say scope to write way forward, right? So in conclusion, what you can do is try to write futuristic, solution oriented conclusion. It should be futuristic. Avoid pessimistic and negative conclusion. Okay, even if the question tone is negative, like there was this question, it has been found that there is decline in the values among the educated individuals in the present society. Okay, so it is a negative tone. Then there was one question talking about conflicting attitudes present in Indian society towards the social problems. It is a negative tone. But in conclusion, you should not end with negative tone. Give some kind of solution or something like that. Okay, to deal with this problem, these things should be carried out. Okay, so this is going to be better conclusion. Then you can talk about some kind of, let's say, references. If in body part you are not able to give references to philosophers, give references here to philosophers. Or we can say any famous leaders, or if you can write any quote, you can write. Then thereafter, if it is not possible, then you can write significance or importance of that concept in the present context, their relevance in the present context. When I say present context, it can be related to society, it can be related to governance, civil services, corporate governance. Understood? Okay, suppose question is related to anything, let's say quote is there. Okay, there was very famous quote by Warren Buffett. You know Warren Buffett? Wall Street billionaire. So he says that in recruiting the people, we should consider 3 qualities in person: intelligence, energy, and integrity. And he gives one more statement ahead of it. If the person does not have third quality, first 2 will kill you: intelligence, energy, integrity. If integrity is not there, intelligence and energy will kill you. Now, most aptly towards private sector, or we can say in terms of human resource, human capital, right? So those people who have knowledge, intelligence and energy, and if they lack integrity, they will be highly corrupt, they will abuse the authority power in their own interest, vested interest, isn't it? So in conclusion, we can relate that to corporate governance, the kind of corporate scams that we observe in recent times. Yes Bank crisis, ICICI Bank crisis. Most recently, we have seen that Haryana government public funds have been diverted by the collusion of public servants, civil servants, and the higher officials in IDFC First Bank. So the funds have been diverted to fake account, around 600 crore, public fund, taxpayers' money. Why they are doing it? They have the intelligence, okay, they have the energy, of course, and they lack integrity. This is the significance, relevance of that particular term, quote that is asked in the question. Then you can always and always relate to always. If you don't find anything, find Gandhiji. Always. So what are his teachings? So there was a direct question in your mains examination. Discuss the 7 social sins given by Mahatma Gandhi. There was a direct question 2-3 years back. Okay, so 7 social sins. What are these social sins given by Mahatma Gandhi? It's a previous year question. Note it down somewhere. There are total 7 social sins, right? First of all, work without wealth. Write down, work without wealth. Worship without sacrifice. Second, the third, politics without principles. Right? Politics without principle. Then knowledge without character. Knowledge without character. Then science without humanity. Science without humanity. Commerce without morality. How many done? और क्या रह गया है? Something from P is remaining. Politics हो गया है. Pleasure without conscience. Okay, these are the 7 social sins, and they are highly relevant in the present context. Okay, so in future we can always expect question on relevance of any particular thing, particular of these 7 sins, and if not, you can always relate these sins to any of the question. Okay, any of the questions will talk about knowledge without character, questions will talk about commerce without morality, questions will talk about wealth without work, right? Like for example, at present we see different kinds of cyber crimes and scams. Have you heard about digital arrest, right? Or different kinds of cyber scams, they are scamming the people. Isn't it the best example of wealth without work? They don't want to do the work, honest means of livelihood, deceiving the people, right? So what is it? We can say that wealth without the work. So basically we should relate all this the present context. There will be applied question. Then Mahatma Gandhi says there should be purity of means. There should be purity of means. He said that means should be as good as ends. He will say that. Okay, so he is more aligned to deontological philosophy, right? Mostly we can say, but Machiavelli and all these things have negative view of human nature, right? They were more of a social contractarian kinds, role of state and all these things. Okay, purity of means. Then what he talks? He talks about Antodaya and Sarvodaya philosophies. He talks about talisman. According to Mahatma Gandhi's talisman, he says that whenever you are taking decision, if suppose the laws, rules are not guiding, if anything is not guiding you, then what should guide you? Ensure that your actions and decisions are going to benefit the last person in line. That is called as his talisman. Okay, the decisions and actions should benefit all, even the poorest of the poor person, right? So this is basically his talisman, right? What else? He talks about what you can say, Gram Swaraj. He talks about Ram Rajya, Gram Swaraj, good governance, decentralization, self reliability. He talks about self sufficiency at village level and all these things. Okay, Mahatma Gandhi can be brought anywhere. He talks about almost everything. So in conclusion, if you don't find any another conclusion, try to link to Mahatma Gandhi. Then we can say that if suppose question is related to probity in governance and ethics in administration, you can always relate to ARC second report. Always report to, reference to recommendations of ARC second report. Ethics in governance, name of the report. We are going to talk about this in second session. Some prominent recommendations. Okay, ARC second report, ethics in governance. Mostly it talks about civil servants, their conduct, role of transparency and accountability. All these things it will talk. Okay, so if question is related to that, give reference to ARC second recommendations or its finding. Okay, then we can, let's say, fine. In conclusion, you can mention all these things. All right, now what we'll do quickly, we'll brainstorm on some important theories and their present context and relevance. So up till attitude part, or before that, we'll cover in today's session, and in next session remaining civil services part, aptitude and all these things, right? Okay, first we will talk about is virtue ethics, or before that I will give you idea about those 100 topics that I have identified. Okay, I will ask them to attach this in the YouTube video comment box. You can download it from there also. Simply from 2013 onwards to 2025, the questions have been asked from these topics. And there is always chance that they will repeat it. Okay, they have asked 3 times question on the constitutional morality. Okay, constitutional, different way, different manner you can talk about. Constitutional morality, you will find the questions or topics on 16th. Yes, constitutional morality. So they have asked many times actually. I haven't mentioned here repetition. But these are the terms or concepts or topics they have asked. Okay. So you must have such kind of list of topics. Now you are doing value addition. Simply revising your own notes or classroom notes is not going to be sufficient. Okay, try to link that to answer questions from these topics. What do you mean by voice of conscience or simply crisis of conscience? They have asked. They have linked crisis of conscience, look at this, crisis of conscience with emotional intelligence also. I will tell you. 30. Emotional intelligence is there, and they have asked something related to emotional intelligence and crisis of conscience also. If it is not mentioned, but I am telling you, this was question asked. Okay. So they will repeat conflict of interest 3 to 4 times. Okay, 3 to 4 times they have asked question on conflict of interest. So that means these are the repeating themes. Corruption, public funds, diversion of public funds. So standard questions like difference between code of ethics, code of conduct, right? So they are the standard questions, we can say that, and they will keep on repeating these themes. So we should be prepared for, so what you will do, you have these 100 topics and try to have at least 1 page note content for all these topics. Okay, 1 page note should have standard definition of this topic. Second, which philosopher or philosophies I can link here. Third thing, 3-4 examples that I can give related to this topic. Fourth thing, I will ensure that its present relevance to society, relevance to civil services and administration and governance, relevance to international relations if it is there, relevance to corporate governance if it is there. Okay, these things should be there in that page. Many times only relevance to civil services will be there, like conflict of interest. Mostly it is for civil servants. Public interest, mostly for public servant and civil servants. Okay, so try to give relevance like that only. Is this clear? Okay, now we'll talk about first. Yes, examples. Examples, out of those 3-4 examples that we have in our notes, try to have both kinds of examples, positive, negative. Why? Because question ka tone jo hota hai, the tone of question can be both positive as well as negative. There was this question about why do the civil servants should have positive attitude. Okay, why they should have positive attitude? This was the question. So mostly the positive attitude related question, let's say tone is their question. Suppose question is related to, we can say corrupt civil servants are there or something, negative tone is there. Some negative example should be also there for civil servants. Okay. So when we are giving example, 2 positive, 2 negative, 2 each. Now within these 2 also, what you can do? Example, one from individual life or individual persons, one example from civil services. Same here. Like I will talk about character. Now character, every person should have strong character, good character. Even civil servants should have good character. Okay, now that is a subset. So if question is asked in general that what is the significance of character in the human life? When you write that, one example from general individual life, one example from civil service. This brings diversity in the answer. Okay, it brings diversity in the answer. That's why dono type ka. And when we talk about civil servant, one will be corrupt civil servant, one will be honest civil servant here. Okay, basically to give the examples of civil servants, we should have a bank of examples. And I will advise you on one page, a separate page, have the list of good initiatives taken by the civil servants in last 1 year. Where you will find this? First, what is that platform, social media platform nowadays? Being Human. Something like that, no? Huh? What is that? Being Human, no? What is that? There is one social media platform. The Better Human, sorry. Being Human is Salman Khan. Better Human, huh? Or something like that. There is very good platform. They are talking about such, creative, innovative steps taken by the civil servants. So visit their platform, you will get all the examples, what they have done. Like recently in Gadchiroli or Gondia district of Maharashtra, one civil servant has taken a very good initiative of water conservation. Okay, water conservation, and that too with the help of community. So the district which is drought prone, so there now the water conservation is helping this, let's say, agriculture, farmers and tribal people. So that is actually good initiative, good example. Many civil servants have taken examples for sanitation and waste disposal in the urban cities. Okay, many civil servants have taken good initiatives for education purpose. For example, one IS officer is there, female officer, Tonk district, Rajasthan. Last year, she has taken very good initiative of using AI in the government schools to improve the mathematical skills of school children. See what we have learned in our school about the maths. The teacher used to give the problem and all 100 students sitting in the classroom used to answer it. Now the level of difficulty of this problem cannot be judged by all the students together, right? The same questions. Now that learn with AI, that kind of platform is there basically. Okay. Now that AI will ensure that based on the aptitude of that child, the difficulty level of question that it will give, so that it will boost the confidence of that child. Okay, I can do it. Then slowly it will increase the difficulty level. This is the way that technology should be used, right? How many of you feared about mathematics? Many students have fear of mathematics actually. Okay, and actually अगर वो स्कूल में नहीं निकाला गया ना, if it is not removed in school, that remains with us for lifetime. I'm telling you, remains for, and that's why people fear about CSAT. It is not that actually difficult, but it is problematic. Why? Because in childhood itself we are made fearful about it by the teachers, by basically all the exam pattern and the system, education system. That's the way she is trying to change it. That's why it is good initiative. Okay, so here you should have list of this and another list wherein corrupt civil servants. Okay, those who have misused authority. Pooja Khedkar. 2 years back you may have come across this news. Pooja Singhal is there. Yes. So she was involved in some coal scam in Jharkhand or something. Pooja Khedkar, forgery of documents. Right. There are so many, like Dhiman Chakma last year, Odisha, young civil servant, caught red-handed by Anti-Corruption Bureau taking 10 lakh rupees bribe. Young civil servant. He was suspended. Again, I don't know abhi kya hai unka situation, but you will come across so many such examples of corrupt civil servants also. Retired civil servants are being arrested for their actions that they have done, their decisions they have taken. Okay, so yes, Tamil Nadu, recent example. How let's say we can say that insensitive a person can be, and that too woman officer. Case is related to small child who is sexually abused. Huh? Yes. And they were laughing in the press belief in front of people. It shows lack of emotional intelligence, lack of sensitivity, compassion, everything. All civil service values are violated. They may not have violated the rules. Okay, try to understand.
Too much of that morality and kindness also causes a problem. There is this one case where an IAS officer got suspended. He had punished one
Yes.
class employee.
Rinku Singh Rahi.
Yeah, so he had
Yes.
punished him, and when he realized that he had done it wrongly,
Yes. He
went
himself
did this
sit-ups.
and then got suspended.
Yes.
Saying that you are insulting the dignity of the position.
I know, I give that example in classroom. Rinku Singh Rahi is very honest civil servant. Few years back, when he was a part of state administration, he was selected first through state services. So he exposed one major corruption in the UP government. Okay, so he was basically even fired the 6 to 7 bullets on his face. You know, his complete jaw is deformed. He was so honest, and thereafter he gave UPSC examination, and then he became IS officer. Right. And when he was IS officer, in one such situation that he is describing, what happened is one of the clerical position person was actually openly urinating in the premises of the office, collectorate office or whatever that. Okay. And I think so he was from judiciary or something like that, the clerical officer. Okay, so he got angry actually, and he asked him to do the sit-ups as a punishment. Okay, no, there is no legal punishment like that. There may be complaint, and there may be some, a financial punishment like 500, 200 rupees, fine. But doing sit-ups is insult to that person. Now that person's ego might have also hurt. So that incident got actually spread like a viral incident ki tarah, and then all lawyers started demanding apology. They started protesting. Okay, they started protesting, and they stopped the working of all the office. Now he was basically being pragmatic, not emotional actually. His action was wrong for asking that person to do the sit-ups. And he actually accepted his mistake in front of all these people, and he casually said that, okay, I will also do the sit-ups, please stop the protest and go home. He wanted to resolve it as early as possible. And here he was not having ego of that position. I'm telling you. What was his intention? Basically, the service delivery to the poor people is getting affected because these people are protesting and the office is not able to work. The main issue is that one. So it should be solved immediately. And doing sit-up in front of these people is not going to some kind of disrespect to that person. Basically, after this incident, again this incident became viral when he did the sit-ups, and the state government transferred him as a punishment. He is honest civil servant, he exposed the corruption, and he tried to do it to resolve it amicably, immediately, and basically it was affecting the service delivery, working of the office, right? And he was punished, right? I will tell you why he was punished. Okay, and it was wrong. That too I am telling you why he was punished and why it is wrong. It was basically punished because there is something elitism in the civil services. Elite attitude, that service carries some status, honor. It comes from as a legacy of civil services from Britishers, colonial legacy, and it is still carried on. You can see after 75 years. Right, the person's intention is not calculated. Intention, Immanuel Kant will talk about this, not the consequences, not the action. Intentions were right. Okay, even punishing at the first instance, intentions were right, method got wrong. The person's character, virtue ethics will say that, see the person's character, not the actions, right? Because of that elite attitude, he was transferred. Why? Because the other civil servants, IS officers, felt that it is basically degrading the civil services status, IS status, doing the sit-ups in front of people. Can you imagine this situation? Understood? So he was not being emotional, rather he was humble. Humility bolte hai isko in personality, humbleness. He accepted his mistake. He said that it was my mistake. Civil servant, IS officer, how they can do mistake? Ego. And even if they do mistake, they will not accept it. Status. Okay, it will malign the image of bureaucracy. That is problem. Elitism. It is problematic because it is not resulting into, we can say that, appropriate governance, citizen-centric governance, responsiveness, and all those, let's say, ideals, constitutional ideals. Fine? Yes. हाँ हो गया, उनके खत्म हो गया सर्विस almost. I know, but yes, see, every human has tolerance level, no? And if he is not allowed to work, see, every person tries to work so that his intelligence, his aptitude is used at highest level. Then only he gets the intellectual satisfaction. This is what Aristotle says in Eudaimonia. The ultimate human aim of life is basically achieving happiness. And he says that intellectual happiness. He is not getting that. No, no. So, of course, many civil servants resign actually. They feel that their potential is not being utilized properly. Right. So, they feel that I will do something better in other field. Many times this happens. Okay. Yes. Some normative theories that we have in the first part, virtue ethics. So virtue ethics will talk about human character. Ethicality of human action should be judged based on human character, he will say. Okay, the three Greek philosophers, Socrates, Plato and Aristotle, they will talk about human character, and Aristotle has consolidated all these teachings into virtue ethics. So what virtue ethics says? He talks about human nature. Human nature, he has positive view of human nature. He says that human is social, political, ethical being. Human is social, political, ethical being. Positive view of human nature. Then he talks about aim of human life. Right? Aim of human life. So he says that seeking happiness. But this happiness is intellectual happiness, not a shallow pleasure or materialistic pleasure, that kind of happiness. Okay, he is talking about intellectual happiness. Third, he is talking about doctrine of mean, golden rule, doctrine of mean. He says that one should avoid extremities of actions. Okay, avoid extremities of actions, moderation in human action. The same way Buddha will say madhyam marg, middle path, same philosophy. Okay, golden rule, doctrine of mean. Like for example, courage. So courage is basically moderation. On extremes, you can see extreme inaction or rash action. Okay, overaction or rash action. So in between them lies the courage. Okay, so they will talk about the moral courage. All these basically virtues they will talk. Aristotle talks about 4 cardinal virtues. He will talk about 4 cardinal virtues. Now all these, let's 4 virtues. Which 4 virtues he is talking? He is talking about courage. He is talking about justice, then temperance and wisdom. These 4 virtues he is talking, and he is saying that those people who have these virtues, they are having good character. They are having good character. This is the way we should understand. Now try to apply this to present day individual life, all these concepts. Now one question that I had asked in the foundation batch this year, first session, what do you think that human nature, whether it is selfish or loving, whether it is negative or positive? 90% of the students raised hand for selfish. What do you think? Mix of both, right? At least some people should have, that balance. Somehow the people are experiencing this thing, and that's why they have this view. If the people have experience of good human interaction, positive human interaction, they will automatically have that view, positive view of human being. That people are helping, people are caring, sharing. Right? In our childhood, we have good company of friends. They shared their tiffins. They helped us in our exam in cheating. So all these things happened no at school level. So we had college level friends. The bitter experiences were also there. So automatically we have this now perception, understanding that human nature is both. But largely the positive nature of human being dominates. That's why humans survived as race on the earth. Do you think that human could have survived as an animal on the earth without positive nature? There has been the emergencies, there has been natural disasters, there has been wars, right? But still humans survived, because at the end of all these things, At the time of emergency, all people came together to protect humanity, to protect human values ultimately. Right? After Second World War, we had United Nations, which is based on human universal values. We said that we did mistake. Now the future generation should not do the same thing. Positive human nature. We learn from our mistakes and move ahead. We evolve like this. Okay. अगर सब लोग selfish होते, if everyone would have been selfish, we would have killed each other up till now. That's why I'm telling you, human would not have survived as a animal, as a race. What happens in the nature? What happens between two tigers? Most of the time I'm saying, they will fight. No, they will fight for same food, or they will fight for their own territory. This is animalistic behavior. Human has overcome this. That's why human is thinking animal. Philosophers will say that human is thinking animal. Human understand that this thing is right and this thing is wrong. Animals do not.
It means we have conscience, they don't have a conscience.
Yes, yes. Our inner conscience will guide us. Right? That's why human is different from other animals. That's why human is good. Okay? So this view. Now you try to relate to present society. What we are observing in our society? Selfishness is increasing. Self-centeredness. Because of that, you can see that consumeristic behavior, materialistic behavior is there. People are seeking pleasure in materialistic things. You know, we are defining success in materialistic things nowadays. You can tell me, even our parents, our relatives, our teachers, what they say in our childhood? If you get the good grades in 10th standard, 12th standard, we'll get into good IIT. Okay, if you score well, you'll get into MBBS, you'll become a doctor. Okay, then thereafter they will say that if you get a good job with good package, then it will be leading to good life. Then thereafter they will say that, okay, if you have your own house, big house, then your life is settled. Right? It is unending. You can see that. Then the car. Okay, first there will be small car, then big car, then 2-3 cars, then your children will also demand car. Unending. Right? So people are running behind this. What is it? Self-interest. They are not concerned about its impact on society, poor people, or environment. Right? How many of you do carpooling or something like that? Very rarely. The Bangalore's traffic problem. Everyone will take out their car and a lone person is driving it. That's why the traffic issue. No one wants to go to public transport or bus or metro. Metro is good. What is problem in metro? Right? People are actually, earlier people used to have this tendency to live in a community life. Now we are actually moving towards individualistic life. And this is where Aristotle will say that human is a social animal. So where human is building the social space now? We are saying no, individualistic ho raha hai. Then where we are building social space? Virtual. We are social. See, he said correctly. We cannot live without people. Then how come? Yes, social media. Right? Social space, social media. We are virtually connected now with people. It comes with its own problems. Right? Now we are concerned more about likes and dislikes. We are concerned about how many views we are getting on our, yes, number of followers now. And if you are not getting, then tension, stress. Right? If suppose some people are, then there are negative tendencies on social media. There is, bullying and then trolling. This is what? Negative human nature. And then because of that, there is violation of human dignity in that social, and then the people get stress, anxiety, or even depression many times because of these things. Earlier, whatever used to happen, at least used to happen face to face, no? If you don't like me, I don't like you, go to your home. That was not a problem, right? Or else if we used to fight and then again we used to patch up, that was not a problem. Now there is problem of communication gap, misunderstandings. Everything is there. It is basically lacking the source. There was one question, if you see the previous year question, it was basically describing that nowadays happiness is being derived through the shallow meaning of happiness. Shallow meaning of happiness. All the problems that we are facing in the present day society, all the problems, the root cause is shallow meaning of happiness. Here comes the Aristotle. They will ask at least one question like this. Indirectly, we have to relate these concepts. Okay, the true meaning of happiness comes from intellectual happiness, and he says that achieving these virtues in our life, that gives happiness. Now I will give you relevance. I was talking about that incident in Mumbai local train, one boy was stabbed. What other people were doing?
They were just watching and making videos.
They were making videos instead of stopping that person. Now these people lacked moral courage. Okay, there were so many people, they could have easily stopped it. They were self-centered. They were worried about self-preservation, their own life. You know, in our school days, college days, when our friends used to fight, or there was fight in our college, or in general also roadside people are fighting, what is the first instinct that people do?
Try to stop it.
Try to separate them, try to stop it. First thing that, dur ho jao. Then automatically they will calm down and they will realize that it was not a major problem. Okay, let's go home. This was, now people are not doing this thing also. Now this is individualistic, self-centered. They lack moral courage to stand for what is right and what is wrong. Okay, they lack moral courage. Now the depth of meaning of this term is very different, I will tell you. Plato says that courage is knowing what not to fear. Okay. Now here many times people get misunderstanding that courage is something that I will go and fight with the people for what I want, or something wrong is happening, I will fight. Recently you may have come across one disturbing video on that Mysore highway. One family was basically being harassed by some people on road. There was this video, no, it was being criticized, right? So what, road rage incident at night time. Now I will tell you, in such situation, what is courage. Okay, I told you it is a middle path, no extremities of action. If the person is with family, his child was there, backseat, wife was there. Now in such situation, one should behave in such manner that should not provoke other people who may be under the influence of alcohol or drugs, or they are not in a right state of mind. And it is night time. On highway, there are no people, let's say other. Now here, the courage will focus on this thing that you need to escape to a place which is well lit. There is lighting, there is CCTV camera. Like on the road, suppose there is a petrol pump. One should try to reach there instead of fighting with them. Instead of verbally fighting with them or simply saying wrong, bad things to them. Right? Complete inaction, that means you are not able to comprehend the situation and you are simply staying there in the car, not doing anything. That is also extreme. Understood? So whenever such kind of things happen, we should be careful. Now I will tell you, courage is what? Courage or all these virtues are tested in the challenging situation, not in the routine situation. Now the same person may behave differently during the daytime in the city. We will not call it as a courage. Okay, the person may come out of that vehicle, may fight with the other people, but that is not courage. Try to understand. Courage is checked in the challenging situation where most of the people will not take right decision, right actions. Understood? Right? Getting this? Same incident, that local metro. Suppose those basically people who were looking at the incident or filming it, suppose their own loved one or dears or their family members are being, let's say, harassed or being killed or being attacked, they would have acted differently. Now somehow their own self-interest is involved. They are not doing it for others. That is not courage. If they are doing it for their own loved ones, it is not courage. It will not define it as virtue. Try to understand this thing. See, we have to think that level, what these people are saying. Okay. So yes, now same you can give example of civil servants here. What is courage for them? Okay, so courage is basically politician is calling, pressurizing you to give contract to their relatives, his relative. Superior is calling and asking him to follow the politician's advice. Otherwise, you will be transferred to some remote district. Okay. And if you, let's say you are transferred, then it will disturb your family life. So many pressure will be there, right? And in that, you have to uphold your integrity. Now, this is a challenging situation where you have to balance interest of both and ensure that civil service values are upheld. Public interest is upheld. That's why the most important quality, even let's say 7 principles of Nolan committee that they talk, selflessness, very important value that civil servant should have, upholding public interest, right? So our actions, our decisions should ensure selflessness, but what we are observing, selfishness or abuse of authority for own interest, right? So all these are linked there. And wisdom, what do you mean by wisdom? Yes, it's not only application of knowledge, it's the combination of, first of all, knowing the true meaning of knowledge, first of all, okay, having the right knowledge, we can say. Second, right understanding of knowledge. Okay, having the right knowledge, having the right understanding of knowledge, and third, application of that knowledge. Well, right application at right time, right put. Okay, so that is called as wisdom. That's why he says, or Plato will say that wise people speak because, you don't know this quote? Wise people speak because they have to speak. Okay, they have to, let's say, speak at that particular situation. Fools will speak because they have something to say. Okay, that means they are concerned about the showing of the knowledge. Fool people. Wise people understand where to speak. Okay, understood. So that's the wisdom. Application of knowledge at the right time, right? Then you can talk about temperance. Here I will give same example. Anger, temperance. Okay, temper बोलते हैं ना, short temper, huh? Short temper रहता है ना लोग, right? What immediately get angry? Why? Because they are not having self control on their senses, right? It's not only this one, senses on, we can say desires. We can talk about control of desires. Corruption is because of this only. People, civil servants lack temperance, right? This life, materialistic life, lack temperance because they don't have control on desires. Okay, so lack of character, temperance as well. Anger. Now there is very famous quote by Aristotle. He says that anybody can get angry, but getting angry at right person for right reasons at right time in right proportion in right way is not anybody's cup of tea. Not anybody can do this. 5 things I said: right person, right reason, right time, and what was that? Right manner. Okay. So anger is a human emotion. One needs to be angry, okay, when your junior is not doing work. Okay, unnecessarily you observe that. So you need to be angry. It's not like that anger is always a wrong emotion. But if suppose there is a person, especially female is there, she's facing problems related to some health concerns at home, and she is, late at work, and you are getting angry at her. Not correct. You should be having compassion towards her, considerate. Understood? So right person for right reasons, right? Right person मतलब गलती इसकी है and इस पे गुस्सा कर रहा है. That is also not good. Fine. So basically we should understand that virtue ethics, how it is relevant to present day society. Okay, next session we'll see the remaining part of all the theory part and its present relevance. I will give you very good ideas and how to relate to current developments. The motive of these sessions is this one. You have all the theoretical knowledge. I want you to relate with the present context. Then only our answers will be dynamic and not bookish. Examiner gets the idea, okay, it is rote learning. If you write all these 5 points, it's a good thing. It's a rote learning. But if you are not able to relate with the present society, then you will not be good civil servant. Because you have knowledge of rules, laws, regulations, but you don't have knowledge of how to apply them in letter and spirit. You will only ensure that they are applied in letter, not in spirit. We don't want such civil servants, right? That's why the way they are asking question last 2-3 years. Initial papers you can see 2013 to 2017, there were direct questions, one liner. So there was no scope of misunderstanding the demand of question. But now the question are more dynamic, but the core of question remains same. What is that? These concepts, they will repeat these things. Okay, so you have some kind of content on these 100 topics. I will say that for all subjects you should do such previous year question analysis, find out the key themes, have some basic content on them. Almost 70% of every year's question paper will be on those themes. This is the strategy that toppers adopt. Fine. Any question? So we'll meet on next Monday, right? Same remaining part of theory we'll cover. Till that time, I want all of you next 7 days at least, try to write on daily basis 2 previous year questions. Next time you bring them here. Okay. Answer writing is the most important part of this paper. 60% of efforts for ethics should be for answer writing. I will not say for GS 1, 2, 3 like this. They are knowledge based, understanding based. This paper is applied. You know the concept, how to write in 150 words. That is challenge. So unless and until you write and get it evaluated, some kind of feedback by the experts, you will not improve. Okay, even at the time of exam also you may feel that I know content about this, but I am not able to write in 150 words. This feeling you will have. So remove this feeling beforehand itself. Okay? Okay, let us stop then.